you've ever felt that building in Fortnite was overwhelming, or maybe you've been playing for a while but still things feel sloppy, this video is going to change that. I'm walking you through the entire foundation of Fortnite building, from the very first box you ever place to advanced moves like cone slides and Thwifo cones. This is your all-in-one building guide. Don't be afraid to pause or rewind to practice each tip until it clicks. Before we get into it, I just want to quickly mention how important build combination and crosshair placement is. All of your building in Fortnite will have a combination to it, and doing it in that order every time will help you be much more consistent and improve faster. And if you want to take your improvement even further, make sure to watch my video on crosshair placement. It's one of the most important skills in Fortnite, and once you understand that, your building and edits will become 10 times smoother. If you're new here, hit that like button and subscribe. Later in this video, I'll be showing you one of the most underrated height retakes that even top tier pros still mess up. Let's get straight into it. Tip number 1. How to build a box. This is the very first mechanic every Fortnite player needs to learn. If you skip this, you're going to struggle with everything else. A box is your safe zone. It's how you reset fights, heal, and control space. A proper box starts with a floor under you. That's the base of everything. From there, place the wall in front of you, then swing your crosshair to the left and place the left wall. Now, look up and place the floor above your head, followed quickly by a cone. Next, swing your crosshair to the right and build that last wall. Finish it off by placing a cone under your feet. This build combination is crucial for starting and finishing a box consistently and accurately. When you're working on creating a box, forget about speed. Your goal is clean build placement. Go into creative and build a long line of boxes. Don't rush it. After you've finished, turn around and look backwards to see where you may have misplaced any builds. Are all the walls placed? Did you miss a cone? Are there any builds placed outside the box that you were building? Identifying your errors are going to help you build better muscle memory. The more boxes you build, the more consistent you'll become. Box building is the gateway to every advanced mechanic in Fortnite. Without this, nothing else works. Start here and do it right. This mechanic is the anchor of building in Fortnite. Whether you're taking height, rotating, or defending against a third party, everything starts and ends with knowing how to box up cleanly. Tip number 2. Stair tarping. Stair tarping is one of the core movement mechanics for getting through zones safely. Think of this like your panic button when you need to rotate and cover your back quickly. You begin by placing a floor, then immediately a wall to the left or to the right, depending on the angles you want to block off. After the wall, place a stair while looking at the wall to block off your back. When you do this quickly, it creates a slanted tunnel that protects you from players from above and behind while not using a ton of materials. You can also use a cone edited into a stair. It's a small twist, but it adds flexibility in tight spots. Using a cone instead of a stair can also be used to grab the space in front of you before the enemy gets the piece control. Of course, it has downsides, but this is an important mechanic to understand and to add to your arsenal. Whether you're rotating in solo endgames or leading for your team, stair tarping should feel like second nature. Use it when you don't have time to think and need to protect instantly. And if you want to level it up, work on your rhythm. Floor, wall, stair, repeat. Be sure to try it in both directions so it's not so one-sided. Some zones are going to pull left while others pull right. Don't just limit yourself by practicing only one direction. Master stair tarping and you'll unlock safe, efficient rotates that will keep you alive even in the most scuffed situations. Tip number 3. Straight line tarping. Straight line tarping is your go-to when you want to move safely and predictably. It's a tunnel style tarp that's going to keep you protected from above and both sides without having to edit, allowing you or your teammates to have the most space and most visibility in a tarp. Start by placing a floor below your feet and one above your head. Then place a wall to your left and one to your right, doing this while manually building both walls. Try to avoid using turbo build when straight line tarping so you don't place a wall in front of you. That's a common mistake that I see a ton. Placing a wall in front of you blocks your view and makes it easier for your opponent to predict your next move. The goal is to create an open and clear path that you can sprint through. The trick is getting the rhythm down. Floor, floor, wall, wall. It should be a loop that you can repeat without missing a beat. If you're placing a wall in front of you by accident, you're clicking too quickly or accidentally using turbo build. Take it slow until you're consistent, then speed it up. Use this when you need fast, efficient movement through zones, especially in mid-ground layers where vision and mat usage matter the most. You can always add more protection to a straight line tarp by adding cones to both your floor and your roof. Once this becomes muscle memory, you'll be rotating faster, protecting yourself more efficiently, and conserving more materials. And in the late game, that's the difference between a top 15 and a top 3 finish. Tip number 4. Zigzag tarping. Zigzag tarping is a more flexible way of straight tarping. You're still protected, but your movement shifts left and right as you progress. Zigzag tarping is a great way to cross sides of zone and is one of the most necessary tarps to learn. To start, build a floor above and below, just like from the previous tip. But instead of moving straight, you go to the left, then to the right, then to the left again. Continue in a zigzag pattern. As you place each new floor, add walls to the side to protect from those directions. Zigzag tarping should be a smooth motion, a nice, easy glide. While practicing this, don't forget to check your path from above afterward. You need to make sure you're catching any mistakes like missing walls or floors, which is going to help you improve a ton faster. Make sure that you also practice zigzag tarping while using floors or just cones or both floors and cones. The key to zigzag tarping is making your movement and crosshair placement smooth while maintaining rhythm. Tip number 5, cheap tarp. The cheap tarp is for when you're low on materials or need to rotate quickly. It'll give you basic protection without draining your materials. All you need to do is place a floor, then a stair behind it. No walls, no cones, just the essentials. Using this tarp style is a great way to get across the zone or from one piece of cover to the next. A quick and cheap tarp. It's best used in solos or duos when you're running low on resources. If you're in a risky spot, you can always add sidewalls and edit through them, but try to keep it as minimal as possible so you're still quick. The cheap tarp is all about efficiency. Every material matters in endgame. Knowing how to rotate with the least amount of builds is going to save you when you're shambles. Practice this build combination while sprinting and sliding so you can increase your speed and difficulty. When you're panicking or rotating in a low resource situation, the last thing that you want to do is to think too hard. The cheap tarp should be locked in. What makes the cheap tarp so underrated is that it blends speed, control, and preservation. Master this movement and you'll have the answer when you're low on mats, low on time, or surrounded. Tip number 6, sprint tarp. Sprint tarping is one of the most underrated ways to tarp in Fortnite. It's fast, reactive, and ideal for when you need to cross space with extreme speed. To do it, pull out your floor build and hold it down while sprinting. As long as your crosshair is aimed in the right spot, turbo build will do the rest. You can also layer in sidewalls or even a roof if you want more cover, but the bare version is just sprint and hold. This tarp is very simple but extremely powerful and used by pros like Acorn all the time. Use this tarp when you have to cross open terrain very quickly. This type of tarping is extremely unprotected, so don't use it for the entire rotate if you can. You can use the sprint tarp to get ahead of teams quickly, or if you're solo clutching and you want to save mats while being fast. The sprint tarp is as easy as it looks and sounds. Take a little bit of time to practice this and you'll be good to go. Tip number 7, how to take height every time. This is your new go-to method when you need to take height guaranteed. It is one of the oldest tricks in the book that can still be used, and it's one of my favorite things to do while build fighting. Start by ramping out. Place a cone on top of your ramp, then quickly edit the cone to break it. While your first cone is in the breaking animation, simply place another cone. Attempting to place another cone where your already breaking cone is will place the cone on top of it and over the ramp, thus blocking the enemy entirely from coming up. To step it up a bit further, you can place cones out on both sides to block the opponent from going out in either direction. You can also use this while taking high ground to secure layers before you even get onto them. Using this build combination will be an essential move for you to master if you want to improve your build fights. This move is extremely simple and easy to start doing, but can be complicated when you start to pull it out in build fights. Practice this build combination at all times and use it whenever you can. Tip number 8, cone ramp rush. The cone ramp rush is one of the safest ways to gain height without taking any unnecessary risks. It gives you solid coverage while applying pressure, and it's a much more reliable option than simply ramping upward with no protection. To do this, start by ramping upwards, then a cone placed on top of the ramp. Then depending on what direction is more comfortable for you, place a wall behind the ramp you just built and one to the side of your choice. In this example, I'll be going to the right. From here, just repeat. Feel free to throw in floors and double edit through them if you feel like the pressure is stacking up. To add to this and make this move a bit more modern, try adding extra cones behind you. This is going to simulate blocking shots from the opponent as they shoot your teammate following behind you. In duos or trios, your teammates are going to be able to trail behind this build combination safely with this added protection. Once you're comfortable doing this, mix it up. You can pause the ramp rush and go for a quick jumping pre-fire from behind the cone. You can also combine this into a side jump or a diagonal jump, which will help you be more random when you're build fighting. We'll be talking more about side jumps and diagonal jumps in just a bit. This technique is all about flow and control. Once it's muscle memory, you'll be able to build upwards while staying covered, even in the most hectic fights. Tip number 9. Bizzle 90s. Bizzle 90s are one of the cleanest and most efficient ways to gain height in Fortnite without wasting extra materials or losing control of your momentum. Named after the pro player Bizzle, these 90s are simple and all about precision, timing, and quickness. The technique for Bizzle 90s is all about hugging the wall. You start by placing a stair, then 2 walls. Place one wall on top of the stair, and then, depending on the direction of your 90, one to the left or to the right. The difference in this type of 90 comes down to how you turn. You place your walls, then simply turn your crosshair in the direction of your 90. Hug the wall and then jump up on the stair. Continue this process until you have height or want to do a different build combination. Bizzle 90s reduce wasted motion and keep your crosshair level. You're less likely to scuff your jump or misplace builds, which often happens with faster or sloppier 90s. Keeping your vertical momentum simple and making doing 90s extremely easy. In solo fights or off-spawn battles, Bizzle 90s help you take height quickly without spending too many materials. When your opponent is watching for a mistake, having a smooth 90 you can rely on means you're winning the elevation game before the fight even begins. To master the Bizzle 90, go into creative and drill the movement slowly at first. Focus on the build combination and keeping your movement minimal. Then slowly increase the speed until it becomes second nature. Tip number 10. Classic 90s. Classic 90s are the foundation of vertical building speed in Fortnite. Before all the advanced movement tech and flashy retakes, this was the go-to method for taking height fast, and it still holds up today. The sequence is simple. Place a stair, place one wall on top of the stair and one wall to the right, then place a floor and a ramp. The trick here is to use the floor to phase up, thus boosting you up just a tiny bit, which makes these 90s the fastest way to climb up. Classic 90s are aggressive. You're jumping higher, turning faster, and placing more builds in one motion. This means that they're a bit riskier, but also more explosive. Feel free to place extra walls around you to protect yourself if you need, or only do a few classic 90s, then reassess the fight and continue after. If you're confident and practiced, they'll help you take height more consistently in high pressure moments. A clean triple classic 90 can separate you from a close opponent instantly. All it takes is just 3 well-executed 90s and you're going to be multiple layers above your opponent. It's important to know you don't want to overuse these. If you spam too many classic 90s, you'll start burning materials or being too predictable. The real skill is knowing when to throw them in for a burst of speed and when to slow them down to protect yourself. Classic 90s aren't just for show. They're a legacy mechanic that will still catch your opponents off guard. Tip number 11. Infinite 90s. Infinite 90s are a low risk, low fatigue way to gain height. In these 90s, you don't have to jump, which means you don't have to worry about jump fatigue. This makes these 90s the most simple and something that I personally use a ton. To start, place a ramp, then a wall on top and one to the side. Immediately place another ramp and keep hugging the wall as you repeat the motion. The reason Infinite 90s work so well is that they reduce mechanical stress. Since you're not jumping, you're maintaining full control of your movement. And since you haven't used any of your sprint or jump, Infinite 90s also allow you to throw in other build combinations with ease. Infinite 90s are great to pull out when you're further away from your opponents. Most players aren't going to expect you to just climb up infinitely. This does burn more materials, but most players you're fighting will stop after just a few 90s. Let them stop while you climb higher. You can also use these to bait players to chop you out, which can lead to an easy elimination just by dropping down on their head. Knowing how to do infinite 90s is a great way to mix up your 90s overall. You can start by doing a classic 90, then mid-build switch to an infinite 90. The tempo change can throw your opponent off and give you free height. Make sure you practice infinite 90s slowly at first, and remember, no jumping, just smooth build placement. Add speed only when your motion is consistent. The less crosshair movement you make with your mouse or stick, the better these will feel. Once you're comfortable, mix in infinite 90s into your retakes and during your warm-up. It's a smart build style that keeps you efficient while still giving you vertical control. Tip number 12. How to safely approach a box. Approaching a box fight wrong is the fastest way to get eliminated and sent back to the lobby. The good thing is there's a clean and safe way that you can set up your approach so you're not taking any risk. Firstly, try to always approach a box from a diagonal angle. This will set you up in the default position to have access to the most pressure points. Then place 3 cones, one in front of you, one to the left, and one to the right. This is going to block half of their escape. Now quickly place 2 walls on either side of you. This is going to protect you from the opponent potentially counterpiecing you. From this setup here, you're in full control. You can either go for a peanut butter edit, a right-hand window peek, or jump above the wall and spray from above. All you have to do now is apply pressure in as many areas as possible without overcommitting, forcing your opponent to make a play quickly, which is going to put him in an uncomfortable position. Be sure to pay close attention to how they react. If they edit or reset quickly, keep calm and react properly. Don't force anything. This setup buys you time while staying safe. You can use the same approach from any angle. It doesn't matter if you're on low ground, even ground, or slightly above. The cone first method keeps you in control. And if your opponent makes more space, you can always repeat the setup and get the fight going again. Practice this build combination in creative and focus on setting up and applying pressure as fast as possible. The faster you can set this up, the more pressure your opponent will feel. Tip number 13. Cones over walls. If you've ever watched a pro suddenly cone someone from the other side of the wall and wondered how, this is it. Walk up to a wall and aim your crosshair just above that wall. If your crosshair is above the wall, your cone will place over the wall and into the next tile. It's impossible for your opponents to stop this from happening. You just stole a piece control from the other side without having to edit or expose yourself. Get this mechanic down and you'll start outbuilding people before they can even react. What makes this especially deadly is how unexpected it is. Most players focus on holding their walls or preparing for an edit. They don't expect expect to get coned from behind their own cover. By claiming that space early, you control the follow-up before your opponent even knows that they're in trouble. The cone over wall is also extremely useful for breaking stalemates. If you're stuck in a box fight trading edits and no one's making a move, cones over walls shift the balance, putting the pressure back on them, and no one wants to take a fight when they don't have control of their top. Now your opponent has to react, and you're no longer on equal footing. You're in control. Be sure to practice this from different distances from the wall. Learn how it feels from all over, so you can pull this out at any moment's notice. The key here is getting your crosshair placement right without hesitation. Once it's consistent, you'll be able to force your opponents into panic mode without even touching their builds. Tip number 14, cones under walls. This one takes a bit more time to get down, but it's insanely effective in pre-fight setups or to quickly get the advantage. Practicing this move is simple. Start with a line of floors and walls. When I practice this, I like to hit the walls once with my pickaxe to get them weak so I can see through them a bit easier. Now that you have it set up, angle your crosshair just under the wall's frame and place a cone beneath it. It has to be done with precision. If your angle is too high or too far back, the cone is going to be placed either next to you or below you. Why is cones under walls so useful? Well, because placing cones under walls gives you an insane amount of control in their box without having to grab the wall. It's a great way to start a fight. When it's used properly, it's going to give you a ton of control early on in the fight, making your opponents unable to build and leaving them confused on how they just lost control of the fight. Tip number 15, cone slide. Cone sliding is all about throwing cones outside of your opponent's box to get that extra control. Instead of trying to grab your opponent's wall, you're pre-claiming space with cones. While you're attacking your opponent's box, quickly slide out 2 cones to the side that you want to be aggressive on. This allows you to catch your opponent's next move and cut them off before they take the space. This gives you better control over mid-fight chaos. By placing cones ahead of time, you deny your opponent the ability to take that space, forcing them into an awkward spot, or better yet, into a spot that you already control. To level this move up a bit more, toss in some walls after to secure the box. Then you can go for the full box or keep it light and fast if you're going for a quick tag. It's not about just claiming builds, it's about playing aggressive from the fight long before the first edit is made. Cone slide forces your opponent into hesitation, and in Fortnite, a single pause can be the difference between control and collapse. Practice cone sliding with rhythm. Get this move down and you'll be looking like a pro in no time. Tip number 16. Diagonal jump. The diagonal jump is a key build combination that you need to master. This is one of many moves that can be combined with multiple other build combinations and will keep your opponent guessing. And remember, you should practice doing this both ways, but for now, we'll start with doing a right diagonal jump. Start by setting up our character right on this gap in our tarp. Using this gap is a great way to line yourself up and to hit the diagonal jump every time. Now press D or move your joystick and jump out to the right. Then place your floor and stair quickly while you're still at the height of your jump. The key to mastering diagonal jumps is your timing and your crosshair placement. Too fast and you'll place a stair below, wasting materials. Too slow and you'll let your opponent predict you and piece you up. When you do a diagonal jump correctly, you're going to want to immediately place a cone on top of your head and then continue fighting. Focus on mastering this movement slowly at first. Nail it in one direction, then start chaining them together. One diagonal jump into another. You should eventually be able to do this move every time without failure. Once you've mastered doing it in one direction, practice the other direction until you have it down. Learn to land this move at full speed and you'll be retaking high ground extremely fast. The diagonal jump is an easy move with a high reward potential, especially when players don't expect it. Tip number 17. Side jump. Side jumps let you shift direction instantly. It's a core mechanic for outplaying your opponents and taking height quickly. The side jump is the best way to change layers with extreme speed. A side jump starts at the same spot as the diagonal jump. Instead of angling diagonally, you'll face directly to the left or to the right. Then, just like the diagonal jump sideways and place a floor and stair mid-air to catch yourself. When done correctly, this jump throws off players who are waiting for a traditional ramp edit or a predictable movement path. Pay close attention to your jump height and how you use your movement. The distance that you move controls whether you land on the stair or get put under it. Both options have value. Landing on the stair is going to give you a faster follow-up angle, while landing under the stair protects you from above. If you're playing against someone who tracks well, you can throw in multiple side jumps to change it up and make it more difficult for him to pre-piece you up. Once you get comfortable with side jumps, you'll be seeing opportunities for them everywhere, especially during mid-fight resets and layer changes. Practice this move until it feels automatic. Tip number 18. Thwifo cone. The Thwifo cone is the strongest retake technique used by pros. It gives you protection, height, and visibility all in one motion. Be sure to follow this build combination very carefully. Start on a ramp. Now place a wall to the right side and one behind you. Then a wall above the wall you just placed. Now place the last wall to the left. connecting all 4 walls. Now place a cone on the roof while jumping and moving forward. Doing this correctly will allow your cone to reach the top of the highest wall. What makes this retake so effective is how compact and protected it is. You're not exposed from above or the side, and you've just created a moment to reposition yourself without taking unnecessary damage. The cone that you place on top blocks the vision from anyone trying to track you from above. Make sure to train this movement in both directions, mirror it left and right until the build combination feels smooth. Once you hit this consistently, you'll start reaching height without burning all your materials or giving your opponents clean shots. And if you're playing duos or trios, chaining this build combination into a tarp will allow you to switch layers or to make more space, letting your teammates follow along easily. Tip number 19, the 2-wall connect. The 2-wall connect is one of the cleanest ways to stabilize yourself while changing layers. If you're dropping down or adjusting direction, just look slightly downward and then place the 2 walls in front of you. Then place a floor in between them. This locks your structure together and keeps you from getting shot out. Tip number 20, stair cone combo. As for the stair cone combo, this is a great way to drop down fast while taking minimal fall damage. It's not flashy, but when you need to avoid taking as much damage as possible, this is a great move to pull out. If you've made it this far, you now have a full foundation of how to build properly in Fortnite. You've learned the fundamentals from building a box, tarping, height taking, and piece control. These are the tools that competitive players rely on every single game. But remember, watching isn't enough. You need to get into creative and practice. Feel free to rewind each tip until you fully understand. That's how real improvement happens. If this video helped you, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. I post a ton of educational content to help you play smarter, improve faster, and win more. And if you want to go even deeper, check the links in the description. I've got coaching options, advanced guides, and a Discord community where you can ask questions and connect others who are grinding just like you. Until next time.